A'udzubillahiminasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We meet again in this time, and this time we'll talk about data collection method. When we talk about data collection method, then we have to know the types of the data, types of the data. The data consists of two types. The first is primary data, and the second is secondary data. The primary data, what is primary data? Primary data is the data as the result of the researcher's direct interview or observation, while secondary data refers to the data that is taken using sources of data that are not collected under the current research that's conducted by the researchers. So this is the type of data that you have to understand. Primary is collected directly by the researcher, and the secondary is not collected directly by the researchers. Okay. Then we'll talk. If we would like to get the data, then we have to know the data collection method, the method of collecting the data. Let's say for the data collection method for the primary data, how will you get this? You will get using several methods. The first can be using questionnaire. The second, you can make an observation, and then the third one, you will make an interview. And then the next one, when you like to take the secondary data, you can have several ways, and the most common ways is using literary studies. You go to the library and then find sources that related to your research, the topic of your research. If your research about the population of Indonesia, then you'll try to find out information of the population of Indonesian population based on the available statistic, or maybe some research that have the same sample about that. And the second one is the document analysis. The document analysis usually refers to you go to a certain document. For instance, if you like to take research, the title of the research using the student achievement, and then you will try to find out the document about the student achievement. You go to the administrative office, you go to the administrative officer, ask the data. But of course, usually you have to follow some procedure. You have to report to the head of department and so on, and then you can ask for the permission. If the permission is given, then you go to the officer to ask the data. Then we'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages of using certain data. The advantages of using primary data. If you have a primary data, usually the data is in accordance with your research area, because the data is taken directly. So if you use this type of data, it's really beneficial because it is really in accordance with the data that you want to get. The second one, the data is collecting using appropriate appropriate ways, appropriate tool, appropriate methods. When you like to have research in quantitative, usually you will have the questionnaire, and from this one, I think it will appropriate your data, and also the tool also appropriate. Then, because it is directly collected by the researcher himself or herself, then for sure the data to some degree will be more thorough rather than others type of data. However, if you like to decide to use the primary data, it also have some disadvantages. The first one is if you like to collect such of data, you need ample time to conduct the data collection, data gathering procedures. And then the second one, the sample is depending on the capability of the researchers. If the researcher have a good capability, of course they will have a very thorough, ample, and precise data. However, if the researcher is not having a good capability in deciding a topic, in gathering the data, for sure the data also becoming weak, because It really depends on how the researchers gather the data. Then, of course, primary data contain bias from various perspectives. Maybe in the first time when you interview your interviewee, the interview is not in good condition, so the data that is given to you is not valid one, contain many bias. Or for instance, you yourself as the researchers, at that time you are not in a good condition in interviewing person. Also, it will influence the result of the data. So this is the factor. So many factors influence the primary data consists of biases. So you have to be cautious. You have to be careful in this point. The next one, need to construct and valid reliable instrument first. Of course, you have more time. You have to spend ample time to create the valid instrument, reliable instrument. You have to test first. You have to give to some expert for expert judgment, and you have to calculate for a quantitative research data instrument. Then you have to check. You have to calculate the validity using content analysis or construct analysis using certain tool like SPSR and so on. So this is the advantages of the primary data. Next one, if you like to use the secondary data, it has also advantages. The first advantages is you can obtain the data quickly. You can just obtain the data quickly, get the data quickly, because, for instance, giving example just now, but asking about the student achievement, you go to the administrative officer, and then you get directly, very fast. And then the second one, the advantages can be avoided from the bias of the researchers, because the data is taken there, so we have no factor from the researcher influence the data, the existing data, if it is the secondary one. Then, of course, no need for you to take a participant, because the participant has been taken by the previous researchers who produced the data. So it's easy. No need for you to you no need to have a participant. And you are not bothering by the bias related to the participants, conscious toward the matter being studied. So I think this one, you are not be bothered with everything related to bias. And we'll talk also disadvantages of using secondary data. If you use secondary data, of course there are some disadvantages. The first disadvantages, the objective may not suitable with the data, because the data is taken using the previous objective of the previous researcher who produced the data. For sure, the data may not suitable. Sometimes you have to adjust that, and you have to force yourself for this kind of suitability. If you have such kind of thing, for sure, it is having little bit issues in your data in achieving your purpose of your study. The second, the existing data refers to the original data collection method that may not be accurate, complete, and reliable for the current research. The data has been taken previous time. I think in the previous time, maybe 1 year ago or 2 years ago, and last year or last 2 years, and the condition of last year and last 2 years, for instance, is different from the current condition. This can also produce a thing that is not suitable with the current condition of your research. So this is the disadvantages. And the last one, if it is not bothered by the researcher, but it's all bothered the bias of the data itself. So the secondary data also contain a bias in the data itself. Yeah, this is the way we have to make a data collection. Again, I would like to make some review in data collection method. I think you have to understand the type of the data. The first one is the primary data or secondary data. And if you would like to take primary data, the data can be taken using several methods like observation, or you can have a questionnaire or interview. This is the most common one. And for the secondary data, sure, you can have literary studies. You go to the literature, and or you can make a document analysis. You go to the certain department to find the document. Yes, I think this is the one. This is today. We have talked about the data collection method. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for your kind attention. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.